Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You get exactly what you vote for. If you voted for it, if you're taking responsibility for the policy, well then you gotta foot the bill, huh? If you announce that you're taking everyone to dinner to a 5-star steakhouse, well when that hefty bill hits the table, that's your bill. You're the one who announced that you're taking out the crew. You took that responsibility, now it's your job to pay for it. But of course we know when it comes to leftoids, responsibility is essentially the kryptonite of the Democrat Party. Every single policy, the ethos of the party itself, the philosophy behind the leftist way of thinking, it's all anti-responsibility. Nothing is ever your fault. The government will step in to solve all of your problems. They absolutely hate the concept of responsibility. One thing they love doing, however, is either kicking the can down the road or applying the NIMBY mentality. Not in my backyard. As long as it's not happening here, as long as it's not happening in my neighborhood, as long as the problem is being exported to someone else, and it's not an issue at all. Well, that's not the way that it's going to work anymore. If you declare yourselves a sanctuary city, if you're a Democrat stronghold promoting all these open border policies, well then you simply gotta foot the bill. It's on you. I absolutely love this new standard. Governor Ron DeSantis and Governor Abbott continue to ship migrants straight to New York. Of course, other Democrat cities, but mostly to New York. And so essentially New Yorkers are getting exactly what they voted for. And well, as expected, they're not exactly thrilled. New York City is falling apart under the pressure of illegal migration. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, I want to play you guys a little segment just to give you the TLDR as to what exactly is going on in NYC. Just take a look.
As the day progresses, all of this overflow has prompted Mayor Eric Adams to ask for a federal state of emergency and for Massachusetts to declare one as asylum seekers flood their states and sanctuary cities. Leadership pleading for help as the tab runs up.
If we don't get the support we need, New Yorkers could be left with a $12 billion bill.
That $12 billion bill, that's the cost for 3 fiscal years. At the current rate, the migrant crisis costs New York City $383 per family seeking shelters and services each day. With 57,300 individuals in our care, the city says that's a price tag of $9.8 million each and every day. A day after that public cry for help directed at the federal government, we are learning that Mayor Adams is set to meet today with Tom Perez, one of Biden's top aides. But it might be a little too late. New Yorkers are frustrated that non-residents and non-citizens are getting so much help when there are New Yorkers suffering. Protesters shared as much outside of a hospital in Queens that is set to become a tent city for migrants. Take a listen.
This whole thing is going to snowball because the schools are going to open in about 2 weeks. All right, and we're totally unprepared to handle that.
Look behind us. There's a park. There's a YMCA there. We have a charter school behind us, a preschool on the side.
This is outrageous. They are putting non-American before American.
But as the bluest of blue states and cities complain, border states like Texas and Arizona say this is what we've been dealing with for years. The situation on the ground here, though, guys, like I said, hundreds arriving each and every day, and the city expanding into whatever space they can find. Tent City at that hospital in Queens. I was out on Randall's Island converting 4 turf fields into a 2,000-person shelter. City turning anywhere they can, but the residents here very frustrated with that sanctuary city status and what it means in practice.
Feeling bad for someone sometimes is justified. In cases like this, you reap what you sow. What the Texas government responded is the exact perfect standard. Texas is saying we have been dealing with this for years. We've been footing the bill. We've had this crisis on our doorstep for a very long time. And it's not even their policy. The Biden administration won't step in and do its damn job. Alexander Mayorkas is a full-on clown. And so what do you expect? I am absolutely loving every single second of this. I don't care if someone thinks that I'm a bad person. I think you're a bad person for incentivizing this illegal migration racket, and most importantly, disincentivizing the interest of actual American citizens and people who need help. There are so many people in places like New York who actually need help. Taxpayer dollars and whatever resources are available should be spent taking care of those people. And especially now, it's a double whammy. New York has experienced experienced a massive negative net migration, meaning hundreds of thousands of people have fled the state. Most of the people who left New York are part of the wealthiest percentile, in other words, the strongest players in the New York City tax base. They've fled to objectively better run states, and so what we've seen is a decrease in tax revenue. You have a reduction in population, most likely a reduction in business growth. In other words, you're working with less, and in that environment, you're adding a $10 million a day crisis bill. This is how to run your state into the ground 101. That's exactly what it is. New York City's not a perfect place by any means. It's certainly the financial center of the world, but it's a place with a whole lot of struggle. It's hard to make it in New York. There's so many people in actual need. Hungry families, abandoned children, children in absolutely horrible conditions, with negligent parents, the homeless crisis. I mean, the list goes on. All of those people are not being taken care of to the best ability possible because the city is prioritizing illegal migrants. Not to mention this.
In a frantic search for more space to house asylum seekers, the city is now considering building a tent city on Randall's Island once again.
The move comes as officials say more than 95,000 asylum seekers have arrived here since last spring, 2,300 in the last week alone. The city has already opened 194 sites and 13 relief centers.
Believe it or not, the city has considered 3,000 different locations to house asylum seekers. But with migrants now sleeping on the street around the Roosevelt Hotel, officials are eyeing 4 popular soccer fields that could be home to an eye-popping 2,000 people.
All options are on the table for us right now.
Deputy Mayor Ann Williams-Isom admitting that the city is once again considering erecting a tent city on Randall's Island. But this time, they want to use 4 popular soccer fields on the southern part of the island.
New York City officials are considering a tent city on Randall's Island. There's very little green space in New York City. I mean, it's the concrete jungle, and whatever little green there is left, they're building a tent city on. New York City residents, your soccer fields have been commandeered. Absolutely ridiculous. I would be pissed. It's one thing if you're sacrificing for a good cause, it's another if you're sacrificing for an idiot's cause, because that's what it is. Even though 100% of these illegal immigrants are seeking asylum, we know that 99% of them are not legitimate asylum seekers. These are economic migrants. It's a racket. It's a scam. Who's benefiting here? Human smugglers, coyotes, and of course the cartels. Meanwhile, US residents have to foot the bill for illegal migrants to stay in the country, work illegally, and then send the money back to their home country. Not to mention, not pay taxes into the system. It's a racket. It's a scam. It's bad policy. It's emotional. In many ways, it's corrupt and there's an ulterior motive. But you know what? Fine. You want to have trash, destructive policies? Go right ahead. Just make sure that it's happening in New York, and you're not pushing the problem or the crisis that you created on states who didn't vote for it. If the DHS, if Alexander Mayorkas, if they aren't going to do their job, well then Texas and Florida shouldn't have to step in. New York City, California, Chicago, the list goes on. You guys should take the entire crisis on your shoulders. I mean, you keep bragging about how rich and wealthy you are and how you're subsidizing poor states. Well, put your money where your mouth is. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.